is Tatiana Boyko. Today I'll show you the Eastern style makeup, otherwise it's called smoky eyes near the outline, and it's going to be a color today. My work, I'll start with eyebrows correction because there is some asymmetry here. So I'd like to align it by removing the top of, thereby lowering the eyebrow because this one is lower a little. I'm using a tone cream to align the face color. Next stage is the corrector putting on, red spots lighting, eye zones. I'm using a corrector by Creolan company, number NB. Now I'm lighting the eye circles with the corrector, thereby preparing the base for drawing shadows. It's important to light the inner eye corner to make the face younger and fresher. I'm using clapping movements here. I don't afraid density in such zones like chin and nose. They are projecting areas which are wiped the most quickly and have a thin skin where blood vessels and red skin are seen. Besides, the skin here is motionless, so you can feel free using the density here. I'm masking pimples now and some spots by little finger size and a synthetic brush. It's necessary to light the mouth area here. And it is important that density won't be concentrated in the nose labial folds, because the powder will definitely roll up with the tone as our skin lives its own life, breathes, sweats. Next stage is the face powdering. I'm doing it with the clapping movements to avoid removing and won't touch by brush things that has been masked before. Powdering has two stages. It's powdering by broad brush and powdering by the smaller one. The last one gets area where broad brush can't. It's near eyelashes and inner corner of an eye. You can use a lighter powder here to model the inner eye corner as if pulling it out. Such lightening will model this area. In the art of makeup, there is one globe rule, very important. I call it rule number one, is To make any face area smaller, deeper, a dark color has to be used. As it's darker, it's stronger. As matted is more stronger. As colder, it has more strength. So all these three gradations in a dark maximally work on any deepening or flopping, making any area smaller. This can be used to a volumetric eye, face modeling, some projecting areas of a square face, a triangular face. To hide these areas, dark, matted, and cold colors are used. The second part of the rule is to make any face area bigger, light colors are used. As it is darker, its strength be higher. As it's warmer, its strength be more higher. And about the white color, it is cold, you shouldn't use it over a warm undertone. But on a pale face it looks great. About the light color, it's better to use a light beige like this powder. And if it's a pearlescent, its strength increases. So using this rule, we are able to model, make the correction lighter or darker, and model a face or any part like eyes, lips, nose. So it is rule number 1 in the art of makeup, which I always use and teach my students the same. Lightening like this pulls a nose label fold out. This face is young and beautiful, but this technique works good with aged makeup. Nose label fold, mouth corner. This area is under a lip into a pit. It so happened in the art of makeup that all pits are gotten out, but all convexities, volumetric zones are hidden by dark color. The deepest relief I'm lightening by the side zone to make it more jewelry. Besides, it is possible to use this lightening. It is used more often for taking photos or videos. In a daily life, it's not used. It is to make the face center more voluminous. To avoid a playing of it, we try to pull it out by lightening methods. It's better to do it by matted facilities. I try to use pearl rarely, in spite of our rule says pearl has a great role for increasing. Pearl is a dangerous beauty. I'd like to do the nose a bit thinner, so I'm making a thin line here. I'd like to do the nose a bit thinner, so I'm making a thin line here. You remember, as it's lighter, as the result be more palpable. The same I'm doing by matted facilities as a powder. Also the area about the lip. This zone must be increased because it's not big. And our rule says, as more light colors we use, as it makes the area bigger. In this case, it's necessary. Also here I can see some blackouts, they can be lightened too. The correction aimed to lightening and the correction aimed to darkening are always can be varied. As more we use the correction aimed to lightening, as less the correction aimed to darkening needed. In this case, for nose modeling, I've made the light line in the central part of it, and visually it has already become more narrow because there was a kind of deception, and of course the edges of the nose become darker relatively to the line. Yes, I'm going to use the correction aimed to darkening, but you should be very careful, because as nose be darker, as it become more artificial. Our next darkening is going to be along the face oval, and I always recommend and teach my students that the nose edge darkening isn't so active as the face oval darkening. Such darkening I'm doing with a broad brush because, according to my rule, as the brush wider, as spots less. I always can use a thinner brush. It's very important to concentrate darkening closer to the center. I can't make nostril very dark because they be on the lightened area of nostril fold, and it shows that we've tried to correct the nose and the modeling has been inept. Because also one of my rules is the relief color per and before has to be the same. What it means, for example, when I model a face by darkening and go behind a jawline, I get some relief and I have to go out of it with the same color density. The same is about a nose. I surely has to model it by guiding in the darkest area to the tip of the nose and lose this color closer to the nostril. That per it and on it there is a light color. To make it harmonically, I'll finish the face modeling. Here we've got not high forehead, so I can't cut it too much. So for making 3D effect, I'll make it darker anyway, and most of it is on the forehead's corners. I can't fold the temporal lobe down because it is a sign age. To find the area of cheekbones for modeling, you have to ask the client to sit straight. I'll proceed from the pupil of the eye looking forward and understand that it is a point which I can't move over with a dark color. And about the line, if I make it under the nose, the touch point will be somewhere here. Also, I'm modeling the side area. My movements are always from the periphery to the center. As more I make the face darker, as smaller it's going to be. You have to be sure about the necessity extent. Small body could have a small head with a small face. This all looks in proportion. But if the face is big, we have to use darkening a lot, because our rule says we reduce by darkening. Each next touch lays down to the previous exactly in half, then there is a smoothness of this shadow. I'd like to remove some blackouts of the neck. I can see it's colorful, the brown color, so a corrector has to be used. If it was a relief, a light powder would be enough to pull it on the level of the common plane of the neck. But we have the colorful spot, which is necessary to hide by the corrector. Hiding it, I also make it lighter. Such work I try to powder with a lighter powder to avoid sticking on the fat corrector and won't become darker. That's why I powder with a light color after impart the tone of the neck with a dark, if it's necessary. Sometimes for photo, either video filming, I model the face shape by eyeshadows, making an oval. I can do approximately like this. In any case, do not get on the temple area. I'm trying to make a connected line. Starting the work with broad brushes, using thinner after. To take a thin brush for eyelining and draw a black hair. It can be rich black because among the thin line it seems gray. In daily life I don't use it, anyway it looks natural enough, so if it's necessary you can use this technique. I'd like to make eyes makeup using our rule. Darkening any area, we make it smaller. In this case the eyelid is volume and moving enough, so I have to hide it by dark colors. But hide doesn't mean I don't like it. Yes, we are modeling using dark, but the idea is to make a beautiful makeup using dimming. Eyes are big enough and it's forbidden to make them bigger, because a disproportion will be. That's why I'm not going to use darkening a lot. In our case, I'll work only on the moving eyelid. If you hit this type, try do not work in the unmoving eyelid area, it makes eyes bigger and the character vulgar. Honestly, such moving eyelid is a godsend for the makeup artist. It rarely happens, so I'm lucky today and I'm going to do smoky eyes along the outline. I've promised it is colorful using the violet today. For brown eyes perfectly, and speaking about colors, any of them are suitable for brown eyes. So today's makeup is gonna be violet. Of course, at the end I'll use the black outline. Start with violet, because it's the lightest of all colors I'm gonna use today. Moving eyelid area can't be lightened. It's better to make it darker or don't touch it at all.
No, Janie, my girl, this might prove a very fortunate trip for you. Ed Stevens is a handy man with figures and ideas. Come on over, look at some of the evidence.
To avoid shadows falling, I move a head back, but I'm not doing it now for you to see. That's why my shadows are falling down, but there is nothing wrong with that. You can flick them off, or at least to restore this area. As farther away from the outline, the softer my movements are. As closer to the lashes outline, I can densely put the color. Most important rules which has been spoken today is any color put it into deepening should come out of it. So the violet color which is into a deepening should come out of it and go further. If the next black color gets into the deepening, it should come out of it too. Black color in the eyes makeup is the basic one. Where I put it, I should lead and model the eye. But to avoid stains, I need to approach to the black gradually, from the light to the dark. That's why violet gives me not only the colorful stain, but some intermediate version between light and dark to avoid stains. Now I want to densify it in a purple color using this applicator. It's jewelry enough. As my makeup suggests a dark outline around the eyes, I put purple the same around them to gradually and smoothly reach the black and to create the intense makeup.
Rotate, gyrate, rotate. Put your back into it. I know you can do it. Rotate.
If I left this version and made up lashes, I would call it Smokey. But now I'm gonna use eyeliner. This is an aqua green. Without it, I almost don't do any type of makeup. It's put it up perfectly, shaded and has rich color intensity. I'm going to make a line and shade it in.
Gyrate, rotate.
I always work with brushes and never with pencils. I think there aren't any tools softer to the skin as brush.
Rotate, gyrate.
I always shade it by flat and wide side, and there's almost nothing on my brush. What's on my finger, the same is on the brush. A saturation to purple I'll add at the end. I never put a color thickly because a wet brush takes it, because shadows have a powdered texture. It's important, don't make an eye round. In this case, I've almost repeated the line, but all visagists know and remember that the area of the third part of the eye has to become bigger and wider. Do not make the central part on the peak. So this area I have to make bigger and wider, that's why I'll add some color, but with the dry method. I'm smoothly adding the violet. It's very comfortable that the brush is flat. I twist it and various size and of course a density. The outer eye corner I'm lifting with the dark. I always make such line on the inner eyelid and between lashes area, then the pencil is very lasting. I'm also working by aqua green on the lower eyelid, making a line and shading it. I'm not moving it far with the wet method because each time I go toward a lighter zone, so there is a probability to put a blotch. Everything needed to make the eye bigger or wider with the dark, I'll do by dry method. A brush has to be a little wet, but not dry. With such volume lid, I can't darken the eye in the center too much because I'll make it more round. In our case, I'm extending the color at the beginning of the lid and at the end in order to make a single line. I'm stretching the eye with the violet color and the black after. The black one has to get into the previous, the lighter one. Then spots definitely won't be seen. Now with the black. The same way I'm expanding down, like a mirror reflection. The upper eyelid makeup is identical to the bottom one in this case. In order to give a form and leave the eyelashes, the direction has to be set on the root. I'm doing it very actively and after I'm pulling the color along the lashes. The eyelash form can repeat the eyes one. It means if we hasn't stretched the color on the moveless lid, making more extended form, we are able to direct the eyelashes to the sides, making the direction from the lashes outline. A bit to the sides. Do not make it round, I'm pulling out the extra mascara. In this case, the eyelashes are very thick and long, but the eye's outer corner is always not enough. I'm gonna use very natural lashes now, so they look natural enough. I'll cut a line and glue a half. That's how my hand looks. It's my palette, but we've got a beautiful version of the eyes makeup. For eyebrow styling, I'm using a gel, but I have to paint them. I'm going to use a hair technique, aqua green, and a thin synthetic brush. A synthetic brush keeps the shape well and always stays flat. A According to the shape, we can make the area wider on the outer thirds of the brow, what I'm going to do with the hair painting. I'm painting them according to their growth. Here they are directed downwards. I'm modeling the face at the moment with a so-called highlighter. I'm trying not to use it along the nose to avoid emphasizing any projections, because this powder is pearl. As you know, it emphasizes a relief. In no case we can't put this powder on the relief. It can be here or the eye relief area, so we can't put this powder on the relief. You can put it under the eyebrows, it lifts them, but very carefully, not too much. I love the lips relief here, and I always emphasize it and make the zone bigger and under the lip. In this case, it's not very big, so I can increase it safely and put this color into the pit under the lower lip. There is no place for pearl anymore. I'll increase the shape of the lips. I won't go up much because the over lips area is not so high. I always powder a pencil to make more lasting effect. In this case, I'm using a beige lipstick. It looks rather calmly with such bright makeup of the eyes. One color in the makeup is enough, though with the violet also a red color looks cheekly, but I hadn't risked to use it here, because red can make a nose bigger and draw attention to this part of the face. That's why the beige is the best here. Brush always makes a line smoother, so brushes are in the foreground as usually. The only one thing left to do is to make the modeling of the face more intensive to saturate my previous correction. In the Eastern makeup, a rouge uses very intensively for refreshing, peach or pink, but in this case I won't use it, I still like it. I like the modeling which has been made, so I stop here. Sign to our channel, Tatiana Boyko's channel and Boyko Beauty School channel. Stay with us, follow our videos. Tatiana Boyko's been with you.